Hello everyone and welcome to Book My Therapy. Today we have on board Becca Faber Pitts, hearing instrumentation specialist, co-owner and office manager at Creekside Hearing, Waterloo. Our guest today is not your typical hearing health professional. With roots firmly planted in golf, Becca embarked on a journey that began with a detour through the fitness and health program at Conestoga College. Competitive gymnast, cheerleader extraordinaire, and a two-time Team Canada cheerleader. Becca has a knack for balancing life both on and off the mat. So, whether you're here for hearing health insights or just curious to know about life with hearing aids, fasten your seatbelts for a podcast episode that promises to be as unique as our guest's journey. Welcome, Becca, to the podcast.
Oh, thank you so much. Hi. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Nice to have you. Thank you for making the time.
Yeah.
So I have a few questions for you. And
Okay.
the first one being, how do you perceive the intersection of mental health and hearing health? Are our mental health states influenced more than we realized?
Well, that's a good question. Um, so you're wanting to know kind of how mental health and hearing health are coincide with one another?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would say when you do have a hearing loss and you don't do anything about it, so therefore, if you need hearing aids but don't get them, one of the biggest thing that we see is people withdrawing from socialization, right? So they're no longer participating in activities, whether that's in smaller groups or family groups, and then they start to withdraw, and before you know it, they're just sitting there in the corner, not engaging, right? So that can play a big impact on their mental health, because they're not exercising the brain and engaging and dealing with conversations as much as they should be.
Yeah. Interesting. So the second question is, hearing health isn't just about ears. It's about how our brains interpret sounds. Can you share some intriguing instances where enhancing hearing clarity has led to unexpected improvements in mental well-being or cognitive function?
Oh, yeah, another good question. So, yes, it's not just your ears with hearing aids. There's an ear and brain connection for sure. So, you can. One of the sayings that we use is you listen with your ears, but you hear with your brain. So, you do need that connection. There's that nerve connecting. So, for clarity and things like that, hearing aids they will improve volume and where people need. The sound louder essentially, but if they wait too long then their clarity is going to start to go as well. So we usually say the longer that you wait to get hearing aids, the lower your word understanding gets. So even after you're getting hearing aids, there's nothing that the hearing aids can do to help that word understanding. So you sometimes hear people they wait too long to get hearing aids, or people that don't like hearing aids maybe because they don't work for them. But there's so many different factors with it. So it comes into a big play of if you do wait too long, then you start to isolate and your understanding goes down as well. So mentally it is frustrating for the person because we're everyone's trying to help them hear better, but unfortunately they might have waited too long to get the hearing aids. So they will still work for the person, they just won't work as well as if they had got them earlier.
Oh, interesting. So I like how you mentioned about hearing aids. So I can only imagine that when people um, have wear hearing aids, how does that impact their self-image?
Yes, we have Some clients that it really does. That's like the thing they come in. So they come in and they think maybe hearing aids are these big, bulky things that are going to be sticking out of their ears. And right away they say, nope, I don't even want them. I don't even need them when they usually do. But then it's crazy once we kind of go through everything and we actually show them how small they are now and discreet. They're very surprised, right? So um, stigma is definitely a big thing, or people think that they're too young to get hearing aids. So we do hear that often too. It's only meant for older people, and they're not quite there yet. But we are seeing younger and younger people coming in, and people not really caring what they look like anymore, which is nice. And most of the time, when I get people that get hearing aids for the first time, I'll ask them, "Did you tell anybody? Did anybody even notice that you had the hearing aids?" And they'd be like, "Oh, no, actually. Most of the people didn't even notice I was wearing them." And I was like, "Oh, see, there you go. You solved your problem."
Nice. So the next question is about mindfulness. We have all heard of mindfulness, but what about mindful hearing? Are there practices or exercises people can incorporate into their daily lives to not only protect the hearing but also promote mental well-being?
Hmm. So to protect their hearing, I mean, the biggest thing is if you're in a noisy place, like if you go to concerts or working in noise, anything where there's lots of loud sounds for a long period of time around you, wearing noise protection. So we do custom noise protection at our office as well. So we do have quite a few people for if they're even musicians, like drummers, if they're playing in a rock band. So protecting their hearing is number one, and then just getting annual hearing test. So we get a lot of people that they're maybe in their 70s or 80s and have never had a hearing test before. And we always say, well, you get your eyes checked very often, and you go to the dentist when you're your whole life, and a lot of people tend to forget about the hearing piece. So we're trying to incorporate the hearing assessment as part of their annual checkup, essentially.
Hmm. Interesting. So the next question is about walking into a hearing test for the first time, which can be a little bit daunting. What can someone expect to happen during their initial appointment? And take us through the process and perhaps share some common misconceptions or surprising moments that people experience.
Oh, I like this question. Um, yes, so I would say a lot of people they tend to have quite a few questions when they either call in or they'll walk in or we'll meet them at an event. And the biggest thing is kind of what should I expect when I come in, right? So we always get them to bring what they need, so like a health card, any insurance information, but then we also get someone to come with them to the appointment because four ears are better than two. There's a lot of information that gets thrown at them, so just making sure there's somebody else there listening, or if they maybe can't hear very well, they're able to kind of communicate between the two of them. Or if there's a language barrier or any kind of restrictions, just having a support person there is very helpful. When they come in, they'll just fill out a questionnaire if they're a first time client. And then we usually get most people that do the hearing test to do our cognition screener in the office. So that's like a 5 to 10 minute interactive activity with just a piece of equipment. And then we bring them into the assessment room. So we will review the questionnaire with them. We'll look in their ears. So we have a TV in the clinic where people can see inside their ears up on the screen. We do a quick pressure test, and then we bring them into the booth to do the full hearing test. It takes about 20 minutes or so, give or take. After that, we will go over all their results back on that TV so they can see right in front of them what their results are, right? So, where they lay on the graph, how their word understanding is, how well they're hearing in background noise. We'll review everything from kind of start to finish, and then we wrap it up with the cognition screener that we did at the very beginning. From there, if they have normal hearing, then we just say, okay, great, you can come back in 5 years or so, unless you notice anything before then. If there is a hearing loss and they're open to hearing aids, then we will actually set up hearing aid trials with the person, and they can take a pair home for about a week to actually try the hearing aids out and just really get that experience themselves.
Hmm. Interesting. I like how you mentioned about support. So this is the next question and the last question. So hearing loss can often be an invisible challenge affecting mental health in subtle ways. So how can we better understand and support individuals dealing with hearing loss from a mental health perspective? And what steps can we as society or family members take to be more inclusive and empathetic in this regard?
Yeah, yeah, it is pretty much, right? So, I mean, I think hearing aids will eventually get more popular. I think they already are starting. It's just like glasses. Like when I was younger, if you had glasses, you would be made fun of because you couldn't see, right? Now glasses are a fashion trend. People just get frames even though they don't even need to see any better, right? So I think the support of the family, if someone is in need of hearing aids, not to tear them down, to actually compliment them and encourage them, because there's more, it's better for them to get the hearing aids than to not, right? So I actually had a client this week, and she said, well, I don't know if my hearing is terrible yet, but she said, I think I'm going to be doing more damage by waiting to get hearing aids. And I thought that was very interesting, because people don't think about the chunk of time that they do to wait to get hearing aids and how that can impact them mentally, and with their hearing as well. But yeah, definitely the support from family and friends, because sometimes we do get people, and unfortunately their family maybe laughs at them, or they call them, oh yeah, that's what old people wear, and then they all automatically don't feel good about themselves, right? But you could be any age and need hearing aids, right? You could be born with a hearing loss, and a couple month old baby is going to get hearing aids, and are you going to still call them old when they're 2 months old? Right? So just that support from everybody is a big piece, and just, I think, educating people on the whole part of the hearing, and essentially like brain health. I don't think a lot of people know exactly what it is. It's not really talked about a lot, and most people, when they come in, don't really know much about it. When they leave, they feel much more relaxed, and insured, and they've learned definitely a lot of information, and they really enjoy the time that they have with us, just because that can help them, right, mentally, cognitively, and then obviously with their hearing as well.
Thank you so much. This is so insightful. So where can people find you online, or what's the best way to reach you?
So we have lots of different ways. So you can either call us right at the office. So our office is located North Waterloo, so the Laurelwood Commons Plaza on the corner of Laurelwood and Urbsville. The number there is 519-885-0006. Or we have an email address that I think you'll attach in the comments there, so you can always send us an email. And then we do have a website, so just creeksidehearing.ca, where there's a whole bunch of information up on there. We have blogs, just stuff about what to expect, some pictures of the clinic, things like that. And then we have an Instagram, Creekside Hearing, and Facebook and LinkedIn are all under Creekside Hearing as well. So lots of different ways to get a hold of us.
Thanks for sharing. And I wanted to take this opportunity to thank you for making the time to join us. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Yes, thank you very much for having me.